So here we are, and I will be very, very honest. It's one of these instances where one does not know exactly what to do. One does not know exactly what to say. One has no idea how this is going to pan out. But glad to be on board, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's going to happen here. I have no idea. We're taking this however we can, and however it is going to come out, it shall come out. I hope that everybody's watching. I hope that everybody's listening. I hope that as many people as possible join me in this, this expedition to I know no boundaries, and I have no idea where it's going to take me. But so far, one thing I can tell you, as is that this Copa America is going to be a great deal of fun. This Copa America is going to be something interesting to watch. I don't know how much will be able to be seen, and I would love to be able to give you as much as I can. And of course, I definitely want to hear from each and every one of you in terms of, course, when everybody starts coming in and starts to get involved and starts to watch this broadcast, how things will play out. So Argentina, Canada start things out in what can end up being a very compelling, very interesting, very exciting beginning to this Copa America 2024. So what do we do? What do we say? How do we start looking at this? Well, there's a lot of things that end up being so compelling, that end up showing you what this tournament can be about. You see Kun Agüero coming out. He was part of that 2021 side. Very limited at that stage of his career, but he was still part of that 2021 side that ends up winning the Copa America in Brazil. He ends up being part of the side that beats the Brazilians at Maracanã, as you see him right there, of course, getting an ovation at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, shortly thereafter ends up retiring. A lot of rumors about him coming back, but of course that ended up not happening. He was in Cary, North Carolina the other day. Very, very far from being close to being in football shape, because there was speculation about him going to Independiente just 4 months ago. Or going back to Independiente, I should say. So all of that being said, first time that Canada ends up participating in this Copa America, as more people coming in slowly but surely. Hopefully more start to join in as we progress, and seeing the first take of Alphonso Davies, and seeing, of course, just a pre-match, pre-ceremony, opening ceremony, Fade. If I were listening to Fade's music, honestly, I wouldn't get excited and I wouldn't get home. So I know right then and there that God bless him, but it wasn't for me. It was kind of a very half-assed opening ceremony to this Copa America. Looking forward to Canada, looking forward with this, of course, with Argentina and them coming into the fray. That ends up kind of changing things, and we will see how it plays out. So ground rules, let's talk about things. It'll be a bit different in terms of a little bit more relaxed. It'll be more of a radio broadcast. I don't know how many of you have listened to games on radio, but it's a different pace, it's a different tone. There's a lot more to talk about, and I will start giving, obviously I can't show any images, I can't show any, and hey, look, here's Alfonso Davies, here's Lionel. No, I can't go and say, hey, by the way, look at the highlight right here. No, I can't do that for obvious reasons here on YouTube. And you see, of course, the fans, it's about 90 to 95% Argentina, or bandwagon jumpers. So it'll be a bit more relaxed from that perspective. I'll be talking a lot more, I'll be saying a lot more things. I'll also, depending on how the match ends up playing out, the tone can change a little bit. The emphasis on certain things can be looked at. Of course, if there's certain things that I do have that luxury of going around and discussing things, if the match lends itself to be of the nature of, well, I can discuss certain topics and certain issues and certain concepts, then so be it. That's part of it. It ends up being a bit different than to be so structured, than to be so established in terms of what ends up happening in the overall things. So, again, I have to look at the comments overall, and I will look at the comments, and I will do my best to kind of be on top of things and be able to answer some of you guys. Doña Frate, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And of course, like I said, it'll be something that I'll be delving into in terms of seeing who comes in, who ends up discussing certain things, and we look forward to that radio style format that ends up being, and ends up lending itself to such a concept. And again, be patient. There'll be certain things on the technical side I'm working on, and I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, if you're planning on watching the match and listening, that'll be great too. And I would be very happy for you. Let me know if you do that as well, because you can also coordinate as both teams already making the long walk. It's a long walk from the locker rooms into the pitch over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They made it a little bit longer, as you see, of course. All 22 protagonists and the 22 fortunate kids that get to walk onto the pitch with each and every one of them. It ends up being a long walk to that. And if you've ever been there, the stadium's spectacular. As you see both Argentina and Canada getting ready to face off in the beginning of this Copa America. Things kicking off here in Atlanta. Of course, the final will be in Miami. Which is Miami Gardens, I should say. Just saying one. You said Miami. But it'll be one of those moments, of course, two teams that have only faced off once. You have to go back to 2010. It was May 2010, the beginning of the World Cup preparations for Argentina when they were getting ready to go to South Africa. They faced Canada over at the Estadio Monumental. It was a 5-0 victory for the Albiceleste. And, of course, if you're watching in Canada, you'll remember names like Postal-Terry, Heino, Hastings, Kukowski, Johnston, Ledgerwood, Imhoff, Grady Rosario. Of course, you see Gianni Infantino, Alejandro Dominguez, who ran into a supermarket the other day. And, of course, you see the whole line. Vic Montagliani, Chiqui Tapia. And all the way in the back is the president of Canada Soccer as well. So all 5 dignitaries there. Alejandro Dominguez trying to find a way to be in the spotlight, much like Gianni Infantino, much like Victor Montagliani, much like Chiqui Tapia. So all of that being said, it ends up being one of these instances where Argentina come in. This is the first time Argentina are defending a title. They've been all conquering so far, but they have not gone and won a title as of yet, or defended a title as of yet. That's what ends up making things a little bit more interesting when it comes to this overall side, this overall tournament, and how different it'll end up being. And see Montagliani trying to give a pep talk to, oh, come on guys, let's go. Let's beat them, whatever, I don't know. Whatever he would be saying at this point. And then, of course, it all lends itself to this moment here in Mercedes. It's sold out officially, although you see a couple of pockets you're looking on the image, there's a pocket of seats that aren't there because maybe the fans are late. If you look over at the top right and top left-hand side of your screen, you'll see some pockets. Now, you end up being nitpicky at that point, but if you say it's a sellout, then it's got to be a sellout. Lineups coming up. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, guys. I thought that. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so of course, things that will be worked out as we go. Let me just turn down. Oh, I know what to do. 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 Give me 1 second, guys. Thanks. It's good to know this. Okay, if you guys, if you're on the stream, can just listen to me. See if you can, if you hear me better, let me know. If you can't, let me know. Just so I can end up, making sure that you can hear me better. That's the most important part of it all. So give me 1 second. Can you hear me better? So, okay, it's all right. Let's do this. Okay, so both teams already on the pitch. We're ready to go. Argentina, at least from where my standpoint, of course. Argentina getting ready. The national anthem for Argentina. I'll give you the lineup as of right now, as you see it. Es Dibu Martinez en goal, Molina, Cuti Romero, Lisandro Martinez, and Marcos Acuna, backline of 4. Rodrigo de Paul, Leandro Paredes, he was confirmed, of course, as the man in the middle for Leo Scaloni. And, of course, Alexis McAllister, he'll be part of the midfield. Leo Messi singing at the top of his lungs. Of course, he'll be over on the right-hand side. Julian Alvarez ends up getting the nod over Lautaro Martinez, and then Angel Di Maria over on the left-hand side. Interesting matchup there. We'll delve into the specifics of each and every single encounter and every single possible problem that could emerge or benefit, depending on who you are as well. Maxime Crepeau, Alistair Johnson, Bombito, Cornelius, and Alphonso Davies on the left-hand side. Tejan Buchanan, the Scudetto-winning player for Inter. Alongside Ismael Kone, Steven Eustachio, that'll be interesting in the middle. Of course, both of them good stoppers in the middle and being able to play out of the back. And then Liam Miller over on the left-hand side. Kyle Larin and Jonathan David will be the starting 11 for Jesse Marsch. As things getting closer and closer, Canada now with their national anthem as well. As I said before, some of the interesting matches. Now, Nahuel Molina's got his work cut out with Alphonso Davies storming down that left-hand side, or down his right, Alphonso Davies left. Alphonso Davies being the captain, and interesting to see Jesse Marsch singing the Canadian national anthem. Okay, well, that's cool. That works. Eustachio and Kone will have their work cut out because they'll have to deal with Argentina's midfield. Of course, Di Maria will be dropping back. We'll see how the midfield ends up adjusting for Argentina when it comes to the numerical superiority that could be established. We'll see how things end up playing from that perspective in all of this. So, with all that being said, with everything already in place, we're just moments away from kickoff here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As we will get started in just moments. And like I said, it's more of a radio commentary. I can't show any images. I can't do that type of thing, but it'll be interesting to see in the grand scheme of things. As you see, of course, if you're watching the world feed, how things are set up. Already seeing glitches in the lineup, but that's just me. Like I said, Dibu, Molina, Romero, Cuti Romero, of course, with Lisandro and Acuna on the left, Paredes, De Paul, and McAllister, and Messi, Julian Alvarez, and Angel Di Maria. No, the other way around, guys. You got it wrong. No. Messi's not in the middle. Somebody got it wrong. But anyway, that's just how lineups tend to be. Now, whenever they do that, that ends up being how it's structured in the program. However they get the numbers, that's the way they put them in. And depending on where the positions are, that's where the players are inserted. So sometimes in those world feeds, you will see those positions. You'll say, why is Messi playing in the middle? No, he usually plays on the right. Yeah, well, that ends up happening. And of course, you see Lucas Blondel's girlfriend there. And she's a journalist over at ESPN in Argentina, and she, of course, is part of it. Jesus Valenzuela of Venezuela, Jorge Orrego, Lubin Torrealba, and Ivan Barton of El Salvador. He'll be the fourth referee, with David Moran being the fifth referee as well. Like I said, right there, Morena Beltran, and of course she's not with ESPN here. She's with I think with a credit. I'm not sure. Well, with one of the credit card companies as a spokesperson, and of course she ends up being one of many of those ambassadors that CONMEBOL have brought and have made things a little bit better. As you see, Alfonso Davies now coming in, as we'll get ready for this encounter in just moments. Again, thanks, guys. It'll be a pleasure. Each and every one of you that come on, just let me know. Please start making, yeah, Tommy G, what's up? Joel, how are you? Yeah, loud and clear. Excellent. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. Now, if you want to set things up, well, you can coordinate and be able to sync things where things will go. Leodan Gonzalez. Interesting in VAR. Richard Trinidad on AVAR, of course. And it'll be one of those things, as you see right there, of course, a lot of speculation. And of course, Jesse Marsh was trying to play his cards. Maxime Crepeau, we all knew he was going to be the goalkeeper to start things out. Johnston, Bombito, Cornelius, and Alfonso Davies. Took a while to get that through, but still took some time. And of course, the glitch goes, it goes on and on and on. Tejan Buchanan and Miller with Kone and Eustachio in the middle. And of course, up top, it's Kyle Larin. Eventually he'll show up. Yeah, Kyle Larin and Jonathan David, of course, they're both inverted in this particular case. Again, like I said, sometimes, and depending on how you see the teams and if you're familiar with them, you will end up seeing that, yeah, sometimes the world feed does get it wrong in terms of the lineup. It's just the way that they're given to people. And sometimes they're not familiar with it, but just the way that they're inserted into a system, that's the way that they're kind of set up there. So we're just moments away from kickoff. We're getting ready here, and we're almost about to get started. Like I said, get things coordinated so you can watch. There will be a bit of a delay, so I'll see how that can work out, or maybe not, or maybe it gives you more time to look it over, and that's why I have to analyze a little bit more in terms of overall, the overall structure of this format. We're underway. Canada, of course, dressed as Canada, and Argentina, well, you know what they're dressed as, always. As the Copa America gets started, all the way from the back, all the way in the middle, and all the way all around, Canada trying to be able to hold that ball and send it deep like they're doing right now, trying to press it as quickly as possible, being cut off immediately by Cuti Romero, still bouncing around as Argentina just kind of holding off. It'll be interesting to see the pitch. It just got inserted. The pitch was installed maybe about 3 or 4 days ago. And there was one of the topics that was being talked about by Lionel Scaloni. Coming in, it ends up going out of bounds. It'll end up going right back to Argentina in the first 30, 40 seconds of this match. Lionel Scaloni was talking about that throughout the press conference yesterday about how the exact and how things have gone on. There's about maybe about 40 seconds. Well, okay, it'll work out, maybe, for now, hopefully. But Lionel Scaloni was talking about how he was worried about Argentina adapting to this pitch and how it could end up being something that moves. It can be, and so there was a lot of uncertainty when it comes to that. As Cuti Romero playing it out of the back, trying to partner up with Lisandro Martinez, the Manchester United man, having to cut back inside. As Canada pressing a little bit higher, tending to do what Jesse Marsh wants to do what he's done with his teams before. Cuti Romero back out wide, again looking in the direction of Nahuel Molina, trying to go over and finding Messi down the near side, but nothing happening. There's Canada being able to impose quickly. A ball back, going back inside. Kyle Larin trying to go through. It'll go right into the hands of Dibu Martinez. And it's quickly Canada being, hey, you know what? We're here to play. We're not here to mess around. We are looking to establish ourselves on this pitch. So we'll see how things play out for Jesse Marsh and company. Already getting past the 2-minute mark here, and Argentina again with Julian Alvarez holding his arm. Not exactly sure what happened. His wrist and favoring it a bit more. As the referee, Jesus Valenzuela asking. Of course, you're going to see right here exactly why Julian was doing that. Of course, gets kicked in the hand. Bombito, the man from Colorado Rapids, being able to come in. Very strong, very physical players. Many of you following MLS are accustomed to seeing. So early on, that's where things end up being the major talking points up to now. Again, playing it out with Johnston. Johnston having to wait and get that ball immediately right back and circling it around the wagons with Bombito. Also trying to do a lot of work and being able to start to associate himself a bit more. Liam Miller looking for Alphonso Davies, cleared away quickly. Again, Alvarez Alvarez was trying to go to ground, but again, McAllister and Messi trying to stuff things quickly over going into Ismail Kone. Kone to Alistair Johnson. Johnson already playing it quickly and trying to be as vertical as possible as the run being made by Tejan Buchanan down the near side. And that's where Canada is going to start looking. That's their bread and butter. Huevo Acuña. As Cuti Romero playing it inside. Lots of early tournament jitters for both teams. That's going to be where, who ends up kind of settling down a little bit more in the early stages of this match? Cuti Romero. Romero waiting back inside again. You see where Canada, basically they're all three lines hovering in the middle, not allowing Argentina to elaborate play. That's why you see the central defenders always knocking the ball back and forth. Having to wait for Di Maria, who ends up swinging over on the right-hand side initially. Here's Dibu Martinez. Dibu over with Lisandro pushing forward. Now down the left-hand side. Huevo Acuña now associating with McAllister. McAllister trying to get around. Of course, a very strong challenge by Bombito knocking it outside. It'll end up being a throw-in for Argentina as we already crossed the first 4 minutes of play here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Huevo Acuña. Alvarez swinging around. Argentina now beginning to have a little bit more mobility, a bit more of an option here in terms of play, and now they start to monopolize the ball in possession. De Paul back out wide again as Argentina now trying to play around, trying to see where Nahuel Molina ends up finding himself. The good switch over here to Huevo Acuña brings it back down. Good opportunity here for Argentina if they start building it up. And of course, having to drop back was Tejan Buchanan. Acuña being harassed, being surrounded by three, still being able to find that ball inside. McAllister dropping it back. Great opportunity for Argentina from outside as that ball ends up going just wide. Leandro Paredes was just outside of the 18, swerves it around, and now Argentina start knocking on the door. Early stages, 5 minutes have gone by. Argentina coming in with the first big opportunity, or the first opportunity of note, period. Kind of passive at times, Canada, but at least you see them trying to prevent the ball from going inside to Leo Messi, but that's where you end up kind of picking your poison. De Paul not being able to win that joust inside, having to drop back, in Argentina settling it down as soon as they lose possession. De Paul, first touch not favorable, second one ends up really breaking down and taking three defenders with him, but then the eventual ball ends up being cleared away, knocked away, going right back to the Le Rouge et Blanc. Cornelius, all the way to Maxime Crépeau. Few minutes have gone by, 6 to be exact. And again, it's scoreless right now in Atlanta, in Hotlanta so far. As they were expecting rain, they were expecting all types of weather. But of course, the inclements did not arrive. Huevo Acuña having to play it back. Looking inside to Lisandro Martinez, I should say. And yeah, you need a lot of patience if you're Canada. That's for sure. Nahuel Molina, back to Cuti Romero. Romero. Stepping. Martinez. Messi. So far being guarded, being surrounded, and, well, it'll take some time. Of course, many are talking about the patience that Canada have to implement. Well, Argentina have to implement the same thing, because as the match goes by, there will be some holes, there will be some situations, as now Di Maria down the right-hand side, switching it in. Good ball sent in, good ball that's recovered by Maxime Crépeau. Cornelius finding Kyle Larin. Much more defensive role so far by Alphonso Davies, as Kone playing it back out wide. Buchanan having to go over to Alistair Johnson, again swinging it back into the middle with Steven Eustáquio. Many were saying, oh, that's Alan Varela's teammate. Yes, he is over at Porto. Kone ends up going down, and a foul will be favoring Canada in the 7th minute of play. We're still scoreless, but again, a great opportunity here for, of course, it's Kone being a bit upset. Don't know exactly why, but well, of course, if you end up getting hit the way he just did, you got to let it out somehow, some way. So instances that are kind of a note, well, Alistair Johnson receiving the ball down the right-hand side, leaving it out to Buchanan. Buchanan wanted to send that ball back in. Good space, and it's Jonathan David. It'll be a corner kick for Canada as we go into the, well, interesting stage of this match, as it'll be a great opportunity. We're already 7+, almost 8 in this first half. Good opportunity coming up here for Canada in the early stages. Ball that's going to be swung in by That will be something to note. Again, the shot that comes through it blocked by De Paul, but not much. And now the break starting. Angel Di Maria, 1v1. Di Maria. The rebound. Messi having to go back. Messi cutting back. Messi losing the ball. And finally, a great opportunity that was saved. And Canada again suffering, sweating bullets in the first 8 minutes of the match. And an opportunity that was completely stonewalled. Great job by Maxime Crepeau, but Argentina continue attacking. Ball sent in inside the opportunity missed. The ball that was sent in, Di Maria was trying to twirl around and find a way to be able to send a bicycle kick in the back of the net. Was he offside though? No, he was completely on. He's on that one. Cornet left him on. So already 9 minutes in, Argentina beginning to find some frailties in that Canada backline, especially when they're pushing forward. And if there's been a weakness for Jesse Marsch in these types of matches or in his system, whether it was at Leipzig, whether if it was at Leeds, well, if it's a team that is understanding of how to hold the ball, again, now my throat starts getting a little bit dry, but you end up seeing a team that if they're patient with the ball, they can do a great deal of damage like Argentina are looking to do right now. Huevo Acuña, ball that was sent in the middle from Messi. Now you start to see Canada and how they are from a structured standpoint. Well, they're still showing a great deal of discipline. Acuña, ball that's divided inside Canada looking to break, but very solid in the back. And of course, a back line that many are going to start looking. Again, another deep ball. This time it comes through. This time it's Messi as he misses wide. 11 minutes in, we're still scoreless. Argentina already with 3 big opportunities after 11 minutes, but he was offside. Still, again, now, we can stay on the offside, we can stay on whatever you want. But when you see the replay of this play, if they do show it, look at where Canada's defending. And at a certain point, you have to start saying, okay, well, what if he ends up being onside? That's where you have to start saying, you can't, well, okay, we dodged the bullet. Okay, what do you do in order to dodge the bullet in the future to prevent the play from happening? And then that time around, you end up having some sort of damage that ends up being, well, of note. That's the big question mark. Davies coming in over on the far side. It was interesting to see the run that was being made. John Buchanan wasn't able to do so. Of course, as I was talking about Moise Bombito, 7th cap for the former Malmo man over in Sweden. Coming back inside. Of course, you see having to drop back with Steven Eustachio. Cornelius. Over to Bombito. Bombito and Cornelius, well, they're going to have their hands full tonight. I don't think I needed to tell you that. But again, it ends up being so obvious. Jonathan David finding Kyle Larin, has to turn back around, but he's being harassed by Lisandro Martinez. Miller. Over to Eustachio. Now Alfonso Davies. Davies dancing around, trying to cut back inside. Of course, cut back one too many times and patrolling in the middle, doing a great job. Cutting it off was Leandro Paredes. Paredes now inside of the middle, looking for Messi, has to drop it back. De Paul. Watch out with a McAllister on the left-hand side. McAllister, of course, trying to open things up, which he does to a certain extent to Marcos Acuna. McAllister. Acuna having to drop back. Just being able to secure the ball, maintain possession, be intelligent with it, start all over again. De Paul. De Paul going through as the Atletico Madrid man finding Leo Messi. Messi, back out wide, Nahuel Molina. Molina. Di Maria. Di Maria, where's it going to go? Has to drop it back again. It goes over to Cuti Romero. Cuti Romero has to wait. Cuti Romero's looking. McAllister right next to Messi. McAllister now opening himself up as Acuna all alone down the left-hand side. Acuna having to go back. Canada pressing well. Canada moving well. Canada being able to block angles off well. But of course, 14 minutes in, that's not going to be to. So that ended up being one of the things that will be looked at. But Messi's being marked very well in the middle. Now, I say that, but every time he ends up getting the ball, it's over the defense. Playing it over with Acuna. Acuna having to drop it back. And again, you hear the stadium noise, and it's kind of interesting to see. Pushing forward McAllister. Finding Acuna. Acuna's going to be wide open a lot of times. Give and go, and the go ends up being a bit short. Tejan Buchanan recovering that ball. Alistair Johnson clearing it out. All the way back to Maxime Crepeau. 15 minutes have gone by. Still scoreless in this match. Ball that's divided. One inside by Lisandro Martinez, but recovered finally by Liam Miller. Now it's Alphonso Davies. Now he's being challenged, and now Molina lets it go through. Miller trying to cut back inside. Very difficult task to be able to get through. All the way back it goes to De Paul. De Paul finding Paredes. Paredes. Of course, you lost. Okay, cool. Yeah, good that you. Yeah, for a second, I lost. I don't know what happened. Paredes trying to accelerate inside, all the way back to Di Maria trying to cut. Of course, as the run was being made by Julian Alvarez, who has also been kind of handcuffed so far in the early stages of this match. McAllister over to Acuna. Bombito doing a good job of kind of neutralizing Julian Alvarez up to now. We'll have to see a much more mobile. I said both ways. Mobile Alvarez up to now. Of course, he just goes back and forth. McAllister joining in up top. McAllister having to cut back, dropping one more time, finding Lisandro Martinez. Over to Cuti Romero. Argentina being patient, trying to find the way, trying to find the space. Again, for Canada, they know that a point against Argentina ends up being so vital for them in terms of their expectations, in terms of what they have to do. Of course, knowing that scrounging points here and there in this group will be very vital. Argentina know that the onus is on them. Molina. All the way inside to Cuti Romero. See only one player in the middle. Of course, Argentina trying to spread things out offensively. Di Maria was out wide, but the ball going to McAllister, the dummy, as he expected Alvarez to come through. Again, McAllister recovering it. Now it's Julian Alvarez in the middle, sending it over to Messi, brings it back, drops it down, finding the put, opens it out down the right-hand side, finding Di Maria. Di Maria now scrambling. Now El Molina's continuing to traverse down that right side, and it'll end up going off of Bombito, recovered finally by Miller, and ends up going the way of Canada. It'll be a foul favoring the Blanc and Rouge. 17 minutes in. Do you notice, ladies and gentlemen, how quiet the crowd is? Well, now don't get too panicky. As you see again, we're seeing the replay, and Miller doing his best to go through, but great job by Crepeau to cut off the angle. And of course, from that angle, Di Maria ends up being just way too left-footed. And the touch that he had ends up being just something of note. Inside the 17th minute of play, Argentina still dominating proceedings, I guess you could say. Alvarez now back on wide. Great opportunity for Argentina. De Paul continued his run, has to drop it back. Having to send it over to Messi. Messi inside to McAllister. No, he's going to go out wide once more. De Paul. Canada ends up defending. Oh, great job for Messi! As he ends up going and getting blocked. A great opportunity again for Argentina. I'm going to say that a bit as we're still scoreless. 18 minutes in, Canada still holding on. Again, remember how the match went against Netherlands? Yes, they lost 4-0, but remember how far it went before the first goal for Netherlands ends up scoring. Of course, the scoreless draw against France. That's something that Canada has been hanging their head on. Miller over to Alfonso Davies. Nahuel Molina there, shepherding, being able to make sure that that ball has to go back. Mission accomplished on that end. Kone, Alistair Johnson, look where he has to end up playing. Over on the right-hand side, it's Tajon Buchanan. Miller, cutting back inside. Where's, again, trying to go through. Laren gets swept inside. Depot, all the way back it goes to Dibu, as there was a foul. Yes, it'll end up being called by Valenzuela. As Paredes, he's pretty much sprawling on the ground, and that'll end up being a free kick for the Albiceleste. With Argentina for the at least for the time being. See right there. So Eustaquio, of course, getting involved. You see right there is De Paul and Eustaquio get into it. They're really going at it right now. We're scoreless in Atlanta. 19 minutes have gone by, maybe more. Well, of course, like I said before. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what is going on. Of course, hey, look, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this. This is the first time I'm working on this. It hopefully gets better. It hopefully improves. But again, it's an experiment that I'm working on for this tournament. Of course, want to offer you as much content as I possibly can. Lisandro Martinez back to Dibu Martinez. Dibu over to Kuti. And throughout the tournament, hopefully not every single game. I have other things that need to be done, but as many games as one can possibly do. Great ball sent in by De Paul. Looking to see if we can send it square was Di Maria, but of course finding a bit of resistance there, courtesy of Cornelius. Derek Cornelius, a man, of course, that ends up being very interesting in terms of what he can do. Of course, a veteran over in Europe. Again, coming through. Argentina not being able to find the right spaces. But again, you see a very compressed defense. And obviously trying to obey exactly what Jesse Marsch is trying to implement. De Paul trying to send another ball deep, and that's where he ends up being able to show the specialty of the house, at least on his end. A lot of important passes that he sent throughout his career that have been such a difference maker or difference makers throughout. Again, having to play it quickly was Crepo, won again by Argentina. As they're dominating proceedings, Nahuel Molina dropping it back into the middle. Paredes, back to Lisandro Martinez. De Paul, quickly played, of course, with players like Davies who end up going forward. They end up offering a lot of space behind them. De Paul being surrounded by three. De Paul ends up going and committing the foul, and of course he ends up kind of being incredulous in terms of what ends up happening after that. I didn't think it was a foul personally, neither did De Paul. You can see here on no. Argentina, of course, having to play against a team that's going to sit back and wait, that's going to sit back and try and pounce, that's going to sit back and try and see where the mistake is going to be made. Laren, and a free kick coming up for Canada. Big one, and it'll be, of course, perfect for Alfonso Davies on the near side. Perfect for a left foot, and that should be a prime position for Canada. Who knows, man? Possibly, maybe, a chance to be able to take the lead. See, Acuna comes in and just ends up kicking Laren behind. The back of his, almost the back or the side of his leg. Thank you guys, of course, Joel and Tommy, everyone that's joined in. A pleasure to be with you for this match. Is Dibu Martinez getting the wall ready? 23 minutes in, still no score. We've already crossed the halfway point in this first half. Of course, for Canada, it's a big, it's compound interest in terms of morale. But Argentina know that very well. And Argentina have talked about that. I'll probably delve into that a little bit later as we get closer and closer, and we progress in this match. Di Maria being the crocodile behind the wall. Big opportunity coming up here for Canada. 23 minutes. It should go to Davies, and it goes to Davies, and it goes off the wall. The rebound outside, it ends up being blocked. It should end up being a goal kick favoring Argentina. No, it's going to be a corner kick. Another chance for Canada, and this will be the way for them, I guess. You see Miller with the shot from outside. De Paul still sprawled on the ground. Folks, I mean, is it just me or the crowd is extremely quiet? Or maybe just like too casual? You tell me. Thank you, Tommy. I'm enjoying it so far. Much better analysis than I'm getting. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Well, finally it ends up. Well, okay. After all that, it ends up being a goal kick, and so far, okay. One of the assistants told no, it ends up being a goal kick. So it took a long time, but of course, once play resumed, and De Paul now finally up on his feet, playing it, pushing it forward, finding Cuti Romero. Cuti, interesting to see. Of course, he's given the room, but you got the stream. Well, I'm glad to hear that, guys. I really do. I really appreciate that. I really do. And of course, spread the word. And I hope that I can offer something different. I hope. And spread the word. Send it to your friends. And hopefully we start building this slowly but surely, because it's not just for Copa America. I'd like to do this. I like to do this for other things as well. Lionel Scaloni watching the pitch. Paulo Aymar watching on the screen on his tablet, seeing what can end up being kind of different here for Argentina. Of course, that ball bouncing in. Messi, of course, being guarded so well that, of course, when you start having to transit the ball around Messi, it offers so many different options. You're seeing it so far after 25, 26 minutes. Cuti Romero, again, he's going to be given all sorts of room. Why? Why should they try and pressure here? Unless he makes a mistake, but rarely he'll ever do. But again, like I said, Jesse Marsch, so far his team has played, I don't know, to perfection, but very near to excellence. Canada so far from a defensive standpoint. Cuti Romero. And again, while many are talking about the fluidity of play in the Euros, it's not going to be like that in Copa America. Copa America is more ground and pound. It'll be much more aggressive. Dibu Martinez having to play it back out wide to Lisandro. Lisandro over to McAllister, who's dropping back. Acuna staying over on the near side. Lisandro Martinez. Dibu over to Cuti. Cuti. The fans with Di Maria holding it over to Nahuel Molina. You see where Canada are pressing. There's no one in the middle. I mean, don't even look at the ball, guys. I don't even want you for the next couple of plays. Look, De Paul has to drop back. There's only McAllister. Of course, he's trying to open himself up, but in a vertical manner. Messi has to drop in. And then, of course, there's no one else to give the ball to. Paredes trying to find a way. Having to drop back even more is Julian Alvarez, who ends up receiving that ball. That's the problem. And, of course, Alvarez loses the ball. There's a sea of red in the middle trying to end up breaking through, but quickly it's won. Alvarez trying to play it out. It finds De Paul. Eventually it goes over to Di Maria. Now the overlap. Messi now trying to look inside. Messi trying to switch it over. Does a good job coming out. A bit complicated inside. Cleared away by Cornelius coming through. And Argentina end up missing another grandiose opportunity as a ball. Of course, it all starts in, again, you can say he's slower, and he is. Messi ends up switching that ball and finds Canada completely all out of sorts. That ball that's sent in, it's, hey, guys, somebody just poke it in, and it does not end up happening. And that's where you end up seeing those switches, those changes in speed are what end up killing Canada. We've seen it on so many occasions in the past when a team starts knocking the ball around, and now they're trying to answer back on the other end. Tejan Buchanan having to go back. Buchanan being just completely smothered by Lisandro Martinez. Nutmeg that ends up favoring McAllister. Chiqui to be able to come out. Now slowly and quickly being able to move that ball around in short passes. Lisandro Martinez letting it go through. And now, of course, the race that's going to be established here is Julian Alvarez not being able to win against Bombito. Bombito having Canada finding all types of problems. Of course, the ball bouncing right back inside the Paul, quickly moving it forward. Messi laying it off. And, of course, on the other end, not going to be working out whatsoever. Di Maria basically playing as a 9. Kone didn't see the oncoming McAllister. Now it's Argentina, the one that's pressuring. Di Maria, Cornelius, and saying to Crepo, you got to come out a bit. You got to be you got to be basically my security valve. That ends up not working out whatsoever. Now a bit of a wake-up call for Argentina. Alvarez just outside of the area. Right behind him ends up being McAllister. And in just a couple of minutes, I'll start giving you the benches for both sides, which ends up being kind of an option as we're already 15 minutes left so far in this half. Trying to cut back inside. Maybe, you know what? Let's see. I'll give it now. Armani, Rulli, Martinez Cuarta, Otamendi, Montiel, Petzela, Tagliafico, González, Garnacho, Carboni, Guido Rodriguez, Palacios, Lo Celso, Enzo Fernandez, and maybe you need Lautaro Martinez in a match like this. Miller has that ball taken away quickly and very slickly by De Paul. McAllister ends up losing it just moments thereafter. Now it's Miller starting again down the left-hand side. Alphonso Davies accompanying down that overlap. Here's Alphonso Davies trying to go through. Alphonso Davies being able to win that long, sending it in square! And a chance for Canada. It goes to Tejan Buchanan, who ends up not being able to turn around properly. Had basically an open net for a split second. But as soon as Davies accelerated, that ball was gone. The angle that he took, first and foremost. Many others, and people say, oh, speed. But it's not speed, it's understanding the angle that he had to attack. Of course, Molina was basically even with him. If he ends up taking it down the line, he doesn't have many options. But the angle that he took immediately, exploding right down the middle, being able to come through, is Argentina now bouncing back. De Paul having to collect it. De Paul waiting. A ball that's sent to Messi, a bit rough, but he's able to play it out back wide to McAllister. McAllister having to turn back around. McAllister looking for Huevo Acuña. Acuña back inside to Paredes. Paredes, 32 minutes in, still no score. Still Argentina threatening a couple of times, but that's been basically it. Now it's Di Maria having to come back to his left. Di Maria inside. Has it cleared away by Eustaquio. Miller pokes it forward. Now Alphonso Davies. Of course, now if he comes at you, you got to drop back and wait. But as soon as he turns back around, he has that ball taken away. It ends up being a foul in favor of Canada. 32 minutes in, what ends up being so interesting is that when Argentina speed up, when Argentina change that pace, and it, again, when I say change of pace, many get it confused when they start running faster. No, it's a rhythm that a team acquires, and all of a sudden the pass kind of changes the rhythm. It's a sharp pass into space. It ends up changing, and of course, players start running in different angles. It conceives a lot of things. And when that ends up happening, that's the change in speed, a change in rhythm that Argentina creates that ends up causing a lot of problems for them. I'm talking about Canada. And when you do that to them, that's where they kind of find themselves a bit out of sorts. Miller, who's played well so far, very well. Good ball up Davies. Davies inside. Davies! Another ball that comes through being saved. Jonathan Davies being denied. Canada getting a couple of opportunities, but of course the play will be whistled dead. As it goes off, it'll be offside on Canada. And now and of course when you get, let's see, we're right. Let's see. No, he's completely on. Now the play after that ends up being different. If you're looking at Kyle Larin, that might have been a bit closer, but Paredes kept them completely on. Davies is the one that's now starting to expose, well, maybe not a weakness, but definitely not a virtue. And that ends up being one of the major topics to be looking at in terms of what this Argentina team is able to do defensively. But Davies ends up being a very different beast in terms of what Argentina have been able to face as a collective so far. Back inside again. All the way back to Dibu. 33 minutes have gone by. Still scoreless here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Very intense matchup to now. Both teams have been able to show respective moments of sharpness, but also a great deal of concentration, especially Canada so far, and it's how they've been able to defend. You got to give them a lot of credit. Paredes, back to Cuti Romero. Inside it goes, of course, trying to find some type of option with Nahuel Molina. Di Maria still open down that far side. Interesting, why is Di Maria playing down the right? McAllister. Acuna. Back inside, and McAllister. Very improved Canada so far. Of course, you see how that match against the Netherlands ended up playing out. And of course, the match against France, you see them on a progressive upward swing. We'll see how that ends up factoring into a tournament where, of course, you got to get results in order to have that factor in terms of, well, improvement. Again, it's Cuti. Cuti Romero again back into the middle looking for De Paul. De Paul having to just fend it off as it goes over to Paredes. Messi hasn't touched the ball much, but every time he does, he ends up swinging it, changing things over. It goes over to Acuna. Acuna having a survey. Where's he going to go? There's too many red shirts. That'll end up being a corner. Watch out. Now, when you have a variation in terms of defense, well, and you don't have very tall central defenders, this is where you may end up maybe getting affected, although Lisandro Martinez is very good in the air. Messi will end up conceding it, leaving it to Rodrigo De Paul. 36 minutes, laying it short to Messi, having to play it back outside, looking to play in the perimeter. Alvarez, De Paul, again, trying to, being able to, or looking to clean things out, but Canada staying very objective, also feeling very focused on the task at hand. Julian Alvarez. Alvarez swinging that ball in, cleared away by Cornelius. Cornelius, again, doing a good job. Same thing with Bombito. De Paul. 36 minutes have gone by. Still scoreless here in Atlanta. Another ball sent into Leandro Paredes. Paredes looking for Huevo Acuna. Maybe a bit forward. No, it ends up being a good pass. Played very well. Di Maria now playing down the left-hand side, trying to filter that ball through. Recovered by Alistair Johnson, now playing it over with Kyle Larin, who ends up connecting in the middle. Here's a good job. Here's a good work. Here's a bit of a complicated ball. It's sent in, but Argentina keeping it in bounds. Canada stopping for a very split second. Di Maria going up against Cornelius. Di Maria. It'll be a corner kick again for Argentina. As another ball that's sent in. That play, Canada completely stopped. They thought it was going to go out. And that ball's, and of course, Cornelius knew that there's no way Di Maria was going to go down the line, but just in case something like that does end up happening, well, might as well just be able to be on your P's and Q's. Ball, it's going to be swung in. This could be all Di Maria. 3-4 inside of the air. No, it'll end up being Messi and De Paul trying to play basically the same way, but on the other end. And trying to see if they can lure anybody out. Ball cleared away by Miller. Molina. Another ball that's sent in. Messi looking to see if he can go back inside, looking to challenge all defenders, but again, not being able to get through. Argentina winning, sweeping that ball in. Messi inside. Messi trying to go get past the two defenders. Having to drop it off, lay it off again. And starting from their own middle of the pitch with Huevo Acuna. 37 minutes now. Paredes again. Martinez again. Lisandro has Julian Alvarez, who starts to jog in towards the middle. Does lure Alistair Johnson ever so slightly. It gives enough room for Huevo Acuna to retrieve it down the near side. Martinez back inside. Martinez looking, finding Paredes. Cuti. That 4-4 defensively for Canada has been impeccable so far. Another ball that's swung out wide. Finding Acuna, because obviously every time Alistair Johnson comes in, Tajon Buchanan gets caught ball watching. Huevo. Acuna, where's it going to go? Of course, had no other option. Didn't really have much of an angle to be able to send that ball in with his left foot. Di Maria. All the way back to Cuti Romero. Messi kind of finds himself being marked by Alphonso Davies on the near side. Now Canada's still shifting over, doing great work so far, being able to cut things off, and Argentina not being able to find that bit of space, that breathing room necessary to be able to create. Lisandro Martinez getting away ever so slickly. Now pushing forward. Oh, look at the push that was going. Here's a ball that's sent in. Crepeau anticipating it very well. And you saw the push from Canada's back line that ends up really opening things up for Argentina because obviously they're trying to push forward. They're trying to create the offside, but Argentina intelligently were able to, instead of run forward, they ended up opening that run out wide and then timing it just right. As the game, pretty much the match was dependent on Angel Di Maria's miss. Crepeau being able to slam the door. But now that I see the replay more often, guys, I don't know. You let me know in the comments. You let me know exactly what you think. And that there was one touch that I'm not sure if it was the last one or the second to last that he ends up touching. It gets away from him a little bit slightly. That ends up being the difference between him being able to get a good shot or not. Final 6.5 plus whatever stoppage time is going to be added on by the referee. And again, losing the ball. Di Maria puts on the brakes, opens up a lot of space. Having to go with the ball, sending it inside, looking for McAllister! The header not with a lot of power, but Crepeau was able to find himself. He located himself just enough to be able to send that ball back inside. McAllister, look at the run that he's making. And finally, of course, when they do find him, he found the space, but again, wasn't able to put enough power because he's going one direction and had to send the ball the other. Doesn't generate a great deal of power. Danger, a little bit, yes. Final 5. Buchanan having to send it back. Johnston over to Bombito. Eustachio. Of course, Canada want to slow things down. So it's Argentina ball as we go into the 40th minute of play. Of course, the man on the far left dying to be what the man on the right wants to be. And the guy in the middle, well, he's in his own thing. Lisandro Martinez, maybe trying to be a little too crafty as that ball finally does go back to Argentina. Again, it's a pleasure, guys. And also make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Make sure you do a lot of things that will, of course, would make this grow a little bit. Of course, this is just the first time, and I hope that it's looking well. Let me know what you think. As it's Miller going up against Nahuel Molina. De Paul again being able to destroy. De Paul going forward. Fonzie sweeping that ball inside. Miller recovering it one more time. Miller trying to go through, but of course, not too effective as it was intended for Kyle Larin. Now it's Di Maria opening himself down the left-hand side. Another ball that comes through and trying to filter it, trying to send it through, but again, Davies being able to win it back. It goes over to Miller. A lot of, you know what? I thought that was one of the things, and do you think Canada's taking a big risk playing so high defensively with a back four? Well, you know what? If they end up playing up high with a, I mean, we've seen it already a couple of times that it could have backfired on them. But I personally would much rather see a team do more of that than more of dropping back, because at least Canada on a few occasions have been able to create some danger because of how they're positioned. And Acuna getting called, to me, part of it is more preference. So we saw that crease right there. Of course, if you notice some of these creases, the pitch is still not 100% there. Let's say it that way. Molina, I mean, to me that's more of a football preference. Ball sent away, trying to first time it in. Great job by Tejan Buchanan to win that ball. Miller, who's been able to associate very well with Fonzie over on the left-hand side, sending it back into the middle with Eustachio. Eustachio's now the one that's cutting inside, and Miller just didn't want to send it in that direction. And now quickly played in the middle. It was Alvarez finding Di Maria. Di Maria has not played very well so far in this match. Maybe, just maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's a match for Garnacho. Maybe it's a match for Nico Gonzalez, although that's a bit of a fetish for Scaloni. I'm talking about Nico Gonzalez. Ball sent in by Kone. Pushed in and now trying to press the issue down the right side. Tejan Buchanan laying it off to Kyle Larin. Hey, saved by Dibu. Tremendous. And now another ball that's sent anywhere. Alfonso Davies missing it. But Divo Martinez called into action the most dangerous opportunity for Canada up to now, and it comes basically at 43. Eustachio coming in. And I was talking to a couple of people in Argentina. I said, look, Canada's a complicated side. Canada's a very, you know, as much as Jesse Marsh might not be ultimately my cup of tea in terms of coaching, there's things that I have to admire about him that he really does very well. And and another thing you say, when you see a system being implemented and it works in these types of situations, these are the times when players have to. These are the times where players buy into it. De Paul, outside of the score, outside of whatever. Molina, back inside, it goes over to McAllister. McAllister trying to open things up, sending it through. And again, final few seconds of this first half. Actually, a bit of a more like a minute left, and plus whatever stoppage time. I don't think there'll be much added on, to be quite honest with you. As it's De Paul. Argentina still looking to find ways to get through. Messi from outside, he ends up blasting it over. He already had defenders on top of him as well. As the first half, of course. Now, this is one of the first times that a ball has come in the direction of Leo Messi that he's been able to face goal. The other ones, he's had to turn to the side, has had to cut back, has had to open things up wide. Now, I'm not saying that every time it hasn't worked. I'm just saying that things didn't really work out the way he expected them to initially. And that ends up being a major, major talking point going into the second half. What adjustments Lionel Scaloni is going to do? I don't think there's anything that Jesse Marsh, other than finishing, he would have to say, you know what, guys, we have to improve on this. No, 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 no. I think that Canada, you have to applaud what they've been able to do. You have to applaud the effort that they've put through, and you have to be able to see if Canada can continue concentrating and being able to find ways that can end up happening and making things interesting so far in this first half. Of course, there'll be only 1 minute added on. Huevo. I'm not sure if I gave Dane St. Clair, McGill, another ball that comes through. Crepeau, another ball that's sent in. Alvarez just couldn't get his balance. DeFougeron, Ibert, Joe Waterman, Kamal Miller, Osorio Ahmed, Chouanier, Richie Larea, Piet, Oluwase, of course, man from Nashville, Jacob Schaffelberg, Russell Rowe, and Thelonious Bear, all on the bench for Jesse Marsh to be used in the second half. So that should be one of the last actions of the first half in what has been a very interesting encounter, as no goals have been scored. Now, not for lack of trying on either end, but again, it's been interesting to see how things have played out after 45 minutes, as Argentina and Canada are scoreless after 45 in the beginning of the Copa America. Guys, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll come back and I'll start analyzing things a little bit more. We'll have a couple other things that we'll be talking about. And again, spread the word. Please send the link to this broadcast to your friends, to whoever, so they can start looking, so they can start being a part of this. Again, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in just a little bit. All right? Scoreless after 45. No, no, Aquaman.
¿Voy a comer? ¿Qué pasa?
Está bien, es como
¿Qué?
uno divertirse nada más.
Bueno, está bien. Obvio, no hay nadie sabe. ¿A quién te va a escuchar? ¿Ah?
Nadie sabe.
Bueno, pero sonó re bien. Lo haces cuando los chicos en el digan, no, ay, estoy muerto reventado. Quiero de comer.
¿Con qué te tocó? Dame.
Si me siento, este sol. ¿Puedo?
Sí.
Hey guys, second half in just a few minutes, but I wanted to jump on. I'm going to jump off for a little bit right before. You see the stats right there, and it tells you a story. I love watching and reading certain people on social media, especially the Argentine pundits that are just they're fuming mad right now with Argentina. Many of them thought that Canada was going to be a walkover. And one was saying, look, it's not as easy as you think. One is not as clean cut as people thought it would be. But to be honest with you, they had another thing coming. And you have to give a great deal of credit to Jesse Marsch and what he's been able to do after 45 minutes. And forget after 45 minutes, because this has been something that he's been working on for over 200 minutes now. And what ends up being a project of sorts, and he took it as such, and he understood what he was getting himself into, and he knew what he had to do. He even talked about it the other day. What he needed to do with Messi is reduce the spaces that he was able to get the ball in. He went and he basically said it, and no one in Argentina paid attention. No. There's certain things that need to be paid. Now, whatever happens in the second half, well, that's another issue in and of itself. But after seeing the first 45, many in Argentina would end up being very, very disappointed after what they've seen. Now, there could have been chances where they finished. There could have been moments where they ended up doing things a little bit better. They could have done things maybe with a bit more clarity, but Canada didn't allow them to. There's always two things when you start analyzing football, okay? What the teams don't do and what the teams aren't allowed to do, or what the teams do and they are allowed to do. Of course, it goes both ways. In this one, they couldn't move around with a bit more fluidity. Why? Because Canada stuffed the middle. You couldn't see them knocking around the ball from, of course, yeah, if you're talking about the central defenders, yeah. Look at the passes that Argentina had. Where were they? Well, mostly on the perimeter, out wide, and maybe because there was no time to elaborate play, that ball just ended up kind of being a transit spot. It ended up being where that ball just ends up moving from the middle out. Nothing really was brought into the middle and then elaborated and continued down the middle. That's what I'm talking about. They took that area, that took that space, they took that bubble, if you will, away. And Julian Alvarez was not a factor, and Messi was not a factor, and McAllister tried, but as soon as that ball came in, there's 3 or 4 defenders coming in and swarming and taking that ball away, knocking a player down, hitting him, doing whatever it took to get not maybe just get the ball away, but kind of take the rhythm away from Argentina, and that's what they did. Like I said, there's 2 different things. People maybe get stuck on one and don't talk a lot about the other. Many in Argentina are going to talk about what Argentina could not do. Very few in Argentina are going to be talking about what they were allowed to do. And that's where Canada ends up having to be. And of course, I'm not saying this to end up being in the good graces of anyone in Canada. No, I'm just saying it because of what I saw on the pitch after 45 minutes. So with all that in mind, yeah, Joe's right. Julian Alvarez has been very quiet tonight. He had a great opportunity towards the end, but when you're running out in that direction, having to twist your body and be able to get the ball here to try and send it back into the middle, ends up being where more often than not, you either end up stumbling to the ground, which he did, or you end up hitting a ball with very little power towards goal. Or you end up collecting it, end up taking 2 touches, having to bring it back inside, and by that time, the entire defense is back. So that's what ends up happening in this second half. We'll see. Well, in this first half, we'll see how the second half ends up playing out. Because if there's one thing that Argentina need to do, is to start trying to find ways to transit in the middle. and the numerical superiority that Canada was able to establish from the get-go, well, that's where the difference ends up being up to now. All right, guys, I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. We'll get started with the second half. All right, guys, I'm about to get started with the second half here. And again, thank you so much for joining and, of course, waiting for Argentina. Canada fans look very happy, that's for sure. Let me see some of the comments. Joe. Seems look terrible. How the hell? Yep, they only. Scaloni said that yesterday, and yesterday was what? Wednesday? I think it was sometime on Sunday. The panels were installed. Sunday, Monday, somewhere along those that he didn't say. He just said like a couple of days ago. So I'm assuming it was like on Sunday. I'll give them. Okay, I'll say Saturday. Still. So I will see, or we shall see how things play out in this second half. Now, I'm not saying Argentina played poorly. I'm saying Argentina need to play better. As we shall wait and see how things play out. Now, we need to start looking more at the Argentina of the first, correct me guys if I'm wrong, the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe. Let's see. So it's Paredes, Molina, Cuti. Predict any changes? I'm looking, I don't see any. Maybe it's a match for Enzo Fernandez. I don't know. Maybe it's a match for Enzo Fernandez. Maybe it's a match for Lautaro Martinez. Maybe it's a match for Canada. Hold on. Let me see Canada. I don't know if Canada needs to make any substitutions as of yet. And who do you bring in? Unless you want to really.
unless you want to bring in someone in the middle like Piet, Mathieu Chonier, but let's see. Hold on, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Messi. No changes. No changes for Argentina going into the half. Or going out of the half. I don't see any changes at least. Maybe there's one. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, and one of the things that we talked, or one of the things that was mentioned in social media, I saw it a lot, just kind of grazing through and seeing what they were saying. I saw Will Acuna, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to see who's missing. No. No. I mean, at this stage of the match, I don't know who you'd bring in if you're Canada. Maybe, I mean, if you ask me in 15, 20 minutes, my answer will probably be different. But as of right now, I don't think Canada need to make any changes. But again, going back to what I was saying before we begin the second half, that many in Argentina are saying, oh, Saudi 2.0. I don't think it's to that extent, but if they get too overconfident, or if they do have that lapse that they did, that 5-minute lapse that they had in the early second half, it could be. So they're very aware of that. And yes, Joe, I agree with you. The seams do look, they're very evident. As the second half is underway here in Atlanta, Argentina now starting out of the back in the first few minutes of this encounter. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys are talking about. Let me know what you want answer. Of course, you can ask questions, okay? This is what it's all about. Carlos never makes halftime subs unless, hey, Carlos Arquiola, what's up, man? How are you? Thank you for joining us. Never makes subs at halftime unless he got totally wrong. He didn't get totally wrong, which you're right. Do Argentina need to play better? Yeah, because also in the second, in the latter stages of the first half, they did kind of have their play diminish. Thus, you did see a lot of progress for Canada. That save from Dibu Martinez ends up showing that as well. Another deep ball sent in, delivering in that left side. Let's see what Julian Alvarez can do. Dropping back is McAllister. Alvarez still maintaining the ball, having it send it over McAllister. McAllister securing it. McAllister being able to make things safe for Cuti Romero. Of course, trying to push on that line. Messi's still offside, but of course, that's still a long ways away from being a decent conversation in terms of coming. Messi's able to get to that ball, fishes it in, being able to sweep in and get that ball, but again, committing a foul was Leandro Paredes. It'll end up being a foul favoring Canada. But like I said before, Carlos, again, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you coming on. And it ends up being with Argentina, and like I said, it's that proverbial panic at times that emerges. Ball sent in by Cone, but easily covered by Cuti Romero. Romero cleared away finally by Nahuel Molina, asking for a ball. Yeah, quickly played by Rodrigo de Paul, but maybe a little bit too forward, says referee Jesus Valenzuela. As of right now, you're going to be maybe a bit shocked, not shocked with me, but you kind of say, what are you talking about? Maybe to me, the man of the match right now could be Maxime Crepeau. Wait, but he hasn't touched the ball. Yeah, but he's made some sensational saves. Messi clubs that ball out. Over on the right side, again, finding Will Acuna. Acuna untangling himself, continue to progress down that side. Alistair Johnson doing the same. You can say it's a bit of a win for Johnson as he's able to force that ball backward. Martinez. De Paul was waiting behind, but of course, Di Maria had to get it first, and he doesn't. Maybe Di Maria. Well, I don't know if Di Maria could be an option to come off because he had a good half. Now, the two players that stand out the most for Argentina after 45 end up being Di Maria and Will Acuna, in my opinion, at least. I don't know. If you think differently, you let me know. Carlitos, thank you again. And Manuel comes through, trying to poke it there. Open now, Alvarez, goal! Makes it 1-0. A darting ball. And who creates the problem? McAllister. Now, will it be reviewed? Maybe. Maybe. But Julian Alvarez, sensational being able to come through. Those darting balls. Again, remember what we were talking about at halftime? The ball, how do you elaborate play in the middle? How do you create in the middle? How does the ball come into the middle and then, of course, continues to be played in the middle? And that ends up being the key for Argentina in this ball that comes through. Julian Alvarez, of course, finding it, knocking it in, making it 1-0. His eighth with the national team, 32nd, I should say, cap for the former River, for the current Man City. Who knows what he will be. But again, Argentina taking the lead 1-0 in a very, very interesting moment in the game. Argentina, again, showing their quality, showing how quickly they can play. And again, Canada, those moments where, a change in speed, a change in dynamic can end up being all the difference in the world. Fonzie losing the ball. Now Argentina looking for more. Messi cutting back in towards the middle. Messi back out wide. Again, trying to chip it in. Heading it inside. Alvarez, a ball with a great save. Fingertips sending it wide. I didn't know if that ball was going to be, first of all, recovered by Alvarez. Second of all, if he was able to shoot it. Third of all, if he was going to get any pace on it. And fourth of all, when he did, unbelievable he's able to get it right there. But Crepo with a sensational play. After this ball, of course, there's a bit of a rebound that goes off of Eustachio. Great reflexes by Crepo. Again, remember what I was saying about man of the match at one point? Well, that's why. Saved him not once, not twice, but 3 times. It'll be a corner kick coming up here for Argentina in the 50th minute of play, 51st minute of play to be more precise. It'll go to Messi, trying to keep it tight, trying to keep it in, and cleared away. Again, every time he's trying to go and find that near post, Messi somehow, some way wants to be able to create some sort of a difference, some sort of a little oomph when it comes to those corner kicks. Not only when he does it with Argentina, of course, he's done it a few times at Inter Miami and done it at PSG and done it throughout. But it ends up being one of those things where, well, things that end up making a difference. Well, no, it's too late for me to predict now, Joe. I'm sorry, isn't it? And Carlitos, you said it, my man. You said it. Why should he make mistake? Why should he change it unless he really got it all wrong? He didn't. 52 minutes in, Argentina with a 1-0 lead. Courtesy of a goal by Julian Alvarez. Now Argentina can be a bit more cautious, or maybe a bit, I don't know if freewheeling could be the correct term, but they can take a bit more chances. De Paul, not too many though. Back to Cuti Romero. Alvarez over down the far side, even further down the left, I should say, is Huevo Acuña. Lisandro Martinez, Huevo. Back over to Lisandro Fernandez. Lisandro Martinez, I should say. I was thinking about Enzo Fernandez coming on. Molina with a very tight pass all the way to Cuti Romero. Deep ball to Deep Crepo. Very well done by the LAFC, LAFC guy, LAFC man. Huevo Acuña. Now let's see what now it's not just Argentina we're talking about here. It'll be interesting to see what Canada do now that kind of things have shifted a little bit and they find themselves behind the 8 ball, if you will. Does it open the defense up more? Does it create opportunities for them? Do they end up being more aggressive going forward? De Paul. Ooh, as he turned around, he didn't think he had that little room, but again, quickly played by Canada. Fonzie. Back over to Eustachio. Further back it goes to Cornelius, and of course even further back to Crepo. Maxime. Over to Bombito. Blasts it forward. Again, Canada trying to find some breathing room. Of course, very difficult to do so for Tejan Buchanan.
are being shown about. Remember I said about Lucas Blondel's girlfriend and how she was looking. Well, now everybody's making fun of her because she was, of course, the way she was. A couple of people are saying, "Oh well, you know what, Lucas, watch out because you want her to be looking at you the same way she was looking at Alphonso Davies before the game." Oh God, people are mean. People are horrible. So, anyways. Again, thank you everyone for joining us in this encounter. Thank you so much. Everyone watching, leave comments, please. Please do. Leave them good, bad, whatever it may be. And again, it's a pleasure to be with each and every one of you for this encounter as we will, look, I don't know, should I do another one? Should I not? Say, look, cut it while you're ahead, retire while you're unbeaten, or should I continue doing this? You tell me. I enjoy doing it. Of course, I want to sit down and watch and enjoy as well. It ends up going out of bounds for Argentina as we get into the 55th minute of play. Again, things have kind of settled down. Things have kind of gotten a little bit better, and you see a more relaxed Argentina now. It's Julian Alvarez. Alvarez having to turn back around outside of the area, wanting to blast it. Well, of course, not being able to do so. That's why De Paul ends up shifting it over. Di Maria, who ends up doing exactly what he needed to do, but ends up sailing it over the crossbar. Of course, as Lionel Scaloni giving indications in his very unique way, just got under it a bit. Didn't miss by a whole lot, but ends up being interesting to see what he's able to do after all was said and done. But to me, what does Jesse Marsch do at this point? That's the big question. Poking it backward. Argentina circulating it around, of course, defending themselves the best way they know how to, which is with the ball at their feet. De Paul over to Cuti Romero. Cuti sending it deep. Another ball. It looked like he was slightly offside. I'm talking about McAllister. Play continuing. Foul being called? No, play continuing. McAllister messing out, poking it back, sending it over to Cuti Romero. Lisandro Martinez back to Dibu. As we're already 10 minutes into the second half, Argentina with a 1-0 lead. Again, those of you just tuning in, it was Julian Alvarez that made it 1-0. A player that many are saying, why the hell is he playing? Not me, the Argentine media folks. Or not media, I'm sorry. I should even say that. A lot of fans were saying that. And, of course, Alvarez at 49, making a 1-0. And here's a chance to make it 2-0. Cutting back inside. Who's coming? Who's trailing? Messi's waiting. If he stitches over to his left, it could be a great opportunity inside of the area. But again, it ends up being poked away. It'll end up being a corner kick. And yes. Messi is, they're saying, oh, but Messi's a little bit, no, yeah, well, look, folks, and this is on Fonzie. Alphonso Davies, the ball ends up playing him, and a great ball that's sent in by Di Maria, coming in just in the nick of time, Alistair Johnson, to be able to take that ball away from Messi. Of course, keep in mind, what's Friday, Saturday? Messi will turn 37 on Monday. Just so you know. So, yeah. But, again, yeah, the physical attributes, you can say whatever you want. Messi, swinging it over all the way to the opposite end. De Paul. Di Maria. Find De Paul, Di Maria, De Paul. Nope. It ends up going out of bounds. It ends up going right back to Argentina. 57 minutes have gone by. Did you guys hear the quote by Luis de la Fuente after Spain beat Italy? Davies, I'll tell you in just a second. Again, triangulating, trying to send that ball through in very restricted space. Good ball. Ooh, that ball almost sent in as the ball was making a run. Now, off to the races they go, but coming in is Cuti Romero. And, of course, coming in once, coming in twice. Cuti taking no prisoners. Man down inside of the air. In the Canadian half of the pitch, that was, of course, Jonathan David, who's been basically anonymous so far in this encounter. Eustachio. Over to Miller. Great job by Molina. Scaloni saying, no, that's Argentina ball. No. And now the assistant saying, what are you talking about? It ended up going back to Canada. Well, Luis de la Fuente, after the Italy match, goes out, and of course, a substitution will be coming on for Canada. Jacob.
If I'm not mistaken, he'll be coming on for Tijon Buchanan. Yes. So Buchanan will be coming on. The man from Nashville. Miller will stay over on the left. Miller stay over on the left. For Schaffelberg to move over to the left would have made a little bit, well, would made actually no sense, I should say. Dibu. Everybody can hear me right? What players on other team have the chance to see their stock rise? In terms of what, Joe? In terms of the performance in Copa America? That's a good question. Well, in terms of players that need to see their stock rise, maybe you start looking at certain players in our. Oh, now I'll break it down as I go, and that's a good question because it can be multifaceted. Molina not being able to get there. Of course, Molina, one that ends up being constantly well stocked, I guess, if you want to call it that way. Gonzalo Montiel would be interesting to see. Obviously, very difficult if he's not starting. So for starters, him, player that played at Sevilla. I mean, a year and a half ago, Montiel was the player that kicked the penalty kick that helps Argentina win the World Cup. Ball that's sent in and it'll end up going out of bounds. It'll go right back to Argentina. Montiel being one of them. And let's just talk within, of course, I can go and say 16 teams. I can find 29 different players. And I could go from here until the end of the match talking about different players that could see their stock rise. But within this match, players, the first one that, at least for Argentina, it ends up being Gonzalo Montiel. Gonzalo Montiel, maybe, well, depending on the youngsters. But then the youngsters come in pretty highly touted as well. But obviously, if they come in and start tearing it up, then that ends up raising their stock, I guess, as well. And Julian Alvarez, as crazy as it sounds, as speaking of which, Molina knocks that ball out. It'll end up being a corner kick for Canada. As De Paul with the handball. I'm not sure that De Paul ended up getting booked for that. Yes, he did. So that's the first yellow card of the match. As it goes to Rodrigo De Paul. Eustachio. Watch out with this one. Could be an interesting ball. It's sent in. Cleared away by Argentina. Again, defending it very well. De Paul. Di Maria. With the outside of his left foot. Trying to find McAllister. But it's right to Alphonso Davies. And Davies might be another one that can end up being, well, can end up kind of giving some leverage in terms of his negotiation. Of course, he said the other day he's not negotiating with anyone until after Copa America. But all signs have pointed for him to be the next player to be signed by Real Madrid. Paredes. Over to Kuti. Well, Kuti was looking for it. He goes back to Dibu. Trying to advance on the run. A very complicated ball. Square ball could be an equalizer. Sliding in the header. Right there, Dibu Martinez. And Argentina end up just dodging a major bullet there. Now El Molina, Messi. And these are the moments where you can end up striking big on Argentina because that's where they find themselves lapsing a bit. They have to retool and kind of refocus on what the task at hand is.
And now you see another ball that's kind of divided, and now Canada feel that they have some momentum. That's Huevo Acuña showing the replays, and Acuña just grabbing him, tackling him, and saying, no, you're, no, not happening. But again, these are the moments where you end up having a very, the presence of mind of saying, we can go after this Argentina side, because they do have lapses. They do have moments where they're not 100% full tilt. Cornelius. All the way over to Bombito, who ends up turning that ball over to Alistair Johnston. Johnston again with a good ball. Schaffelberg. Inside to David. Another chance from outside. No, it's going to go over to Fonzie. Fonzie's looking to cut back to the line, into the area, still trying to bounce in. Dibu Martinez. Can you give this Canada side opportunities down the wings? It could end up being dangerous. And now on the other end, here's a chance to make it 2-0. A great save. Messi gets too cute. He just got way too cute on that one. Instead of being more of a finisher, he could have, killed off the match, but he ended up wanting to just chip it over. He wanted to be able to be more artistic. Nothing wrong with that. Who am I to tell you, if you're arguably the greatest player of ever, to finish a certain way? And then he ends up missing again. Goes right off of the face of Cornelius. It could have been 2-0. Now it could be 1-1. Miller, corner kick coming up on the other end. Who am I to tell Leo Messi how to finish? That's what I always say, but that's what I always say. Another chance. Is Canada growing in confidence yet again? Another chance coming up here. Eustaquio setting up. Again, Acuña locked in with Bombito. Saying, I'm getting embraced. Well, yeah, that's the truth. But Acuña needs to at least establish some sort of presence in front of him. So that's where things end up getting a little bit more challenging for him. Bombito trying to go in. Eustaquio trying to keep it inside of the area, heading it through. Nobody being able to get just any type of touch. Now recovering one more time. One more chance. Another header that goes wide. Unbelievable what Jonathan David just missed. Unbelievable that he was not able to put it on target. And even more unbelievable is the fact that he put it wide. Again, Argentina giving a great deal of confidence. Schaffelberg has come in. He's offered a bit of a change. That's something of note. Now, is it time? Who was it? Joe that mentioned it earlier? Is it time to start looking at your bench? Is it time to start looking at an option in the middle? Because it's a team that's slowly beginning to lose, and exactly that's what happens. Angel Di Maria comes off. He will be replaced by Gio Lo Celso. So Gio Lo Celso comes on. As Argentina's still up 1-0, but keep in mind, Canada starting to get a bit more braver going forward. Now, this is where the term brave ends up being adequately used at times. As you see a very cautious Argentina having to move that ball from one end to the other. Martinez, back to Huevo Acuña, now trying to project it forward. But it's Bombito that's able to win that ball. Cornelius over to Bombito. And again, Canada slowly, progressively moving at 68th minute of play. Still Argentina with a 1-0 lead. Cornelius, where's he going to go? Wanting to go in. At a certain point, you have to start trying to attack. You just can't knock the ball around back and forth. Recovered and saved and preserved in terms of possession there by Liam Miller. Bombito back inside to Kone. Kone turns back around, has a lot of room to roam until he finally didn't. having to cut it back into the middle. Bombito has a lot of room to cross the middle of the pitch. Instead, it's Kone that does. Now you start seeing more. Schaffelberg inside of the area. Johnston wants to send it in, but he's quickly marked by McAllister. Some room there for Miller over on the near side. Miller, what's he going to do? Miller, he does have the option, tries to knife that ball through, of course, trying to force it in. It'll end up going back to Argentina as we go into the 69th minute of play, still with a 1-0 lead for the Albiceleste. And as I said, at a certain point at the beginning of the match, it's something that I heard in a history class before. One thing is being the revolutionary, another thing is being the actual president. And of course, one thing is you being the team that is the candidate to win. Another thing is you being the candidate to win and everybody going after you. Well, this is the first scenario where that ends up being a reality for Argentina. Not only do you have the crown on your head, everybody's gunning for you. Everybody will gun for you. And this is why you end up seeing a bit of a different disposition. As speaking of disposition, Canada being able to dispossess. Going through, is it a foul? No, the referee says play on. Finally, now there will be a foul as McAllister going to ground. It ended up being a foul and a yellow card. Eventually, Jesse Marsh, just beside himself, has no idea what happened. But Jesus Valenzuela says it'll end up going right back to the Albiceleste. It's Kone that's disputing that. No, there's no foul. Martinez, look, well, maybe. One angle tells you one thing, the other angle tells you another. That's VAR checking. And this could be interesting. This could be a very interesting moment. This could be a very, very interesting moment. So, play still continuing. Messi saying, well, as play continuing in the seventh. Now, there's a very interesting story. It doesn't have to do anything with Argentina, but still, it could be with a lot to do with Canada. Schaffelberg inside of the area, couldn't cut back inside. Argentina have lost the plot so far in the second half, or at least in this stage of the second half. Lo Celso couldn't find Alvarez. But again, the ball pushed back, and Crepeau will easily collect it. Do you guys remember what happened to Ramon Diaz? Of course, former River Plate coach, former Paraguay coach. He was coaching at Vasco just recently. Ball, it's cleared away. He was sacked, 2 months ago? Again, this is how crazy the Brazilian league is. Again, so you can have a bit of a context in terms of what goes on in South American football. Poor form. Ramon Diaz gets sacked. Of course, in the scandal with women in refereeing. Oh, God. Anyway, he gets sacked. New coach comes in. Well, Pacheco ends up getting sacked just today. So what is Vasco da Gama looking to do? As we're kind of taking a bit of a break here. Well, Vasco da Gama are about to announce Ramon Diaz as their new coach. I kid you not. 73rd minute of play. Argentina trying to regroup. Not a very good performance for the Albiceleste. Dibu. Back out wide. It goes to Lisandro Martinez. Now to Huevo Acuña. Acuña can't turn back around. Has to just shovel it back. Martinez. Now Argentina is just trying to dump it forward. There's nobody to send it to. They've completely lost the midfield. Back into the middle. Great job here as it could be Alphonso Davies. Davies going up against the defense. Davies. When he cut back inside, everything opened up. But he ends up sending it wide. Another ball that's divided. Chasing, of course, but not being able to do too much. Canada's just been the better team over the last 15 minutes or so. Schaffelberg sliding in. A great bit of work there by Lisandro Martinez. Argentina have kind of, like, I don't know if lost the plot, but lost their way for sure. Paredes. Nahuel Molina. Canada just have more jump. And now it's Lautaro Martinez coming on. Same thing with Nicolas Otamendi. Now, who comes off? Lisandro? Obviously, Julian Alvarez will be coming off, and you need a player that can gather. Is Huevo Acuña losing it? McAllister loses it. Here's another chance for Canada. Kyle Larin inside of the area. David coming in. And now Argentina suffering one more time. It's Dibu Martinez having a smother. And he ends up feeling something. Again, the midfield for Argentina, there would have been an offside anyway. And could it be Franco Armani getting ready? Nope. Coming off will be Leandro Paredes. So coming off will be Leandro Paredes and Julian Alvarez. So with the match has kind of lost its rhythm from an Argentina standpoint, I should say. So Julian Alvarez, the man that scored the only goal of the match up to now, well, he ends up leaving for now. So Martinez will be up top. Messi will be behind. Playing a back line of 5, basically. Now recovered. McAllister. De Paul. Running down the right-hand side. Nahuel Molina. Dangerous ball. Molina. Inside. It's Lo Celso. Does it get deflected? It seemed like it did. It's going to be a corner kick for Argentina. 77 minutes. Still 1-0. Again, it's one of those moments where you need to kind of serve. And again, just because you're not playing well doesn't mean you don't need to survive. Again, another cross. Cornelius clearing it away. And when you don't find the answers, you just have to hold on to see if the answers come to you. Lo Celso loses it. Another ball that's lost. It's interesting to see how many balls are being lost. And it's getting chopped down from behind. It'll be Acuña getting a card, or he should. Jonathan David asking for it. I don't blame him. As it's quickly played, but David, well, it was about to be quickly played, but Eustaquio decides to take the ball and stop it and give it a bit of a break, give a bit of a respite with 11 minutes left. Many in Argentina are going to criticize. Many in Argentina are going to start saying, oh, we should have blown these guys out 9-0. Canada's a tough team. It's a difficult team. It's a complicated team. Anticipating well Molina as the run was being made by Alphonso Davies on the near side as well. Cutting back and trying to get it some type of semblance of possession, but of course, Messi wasn't able to do too much. Not a good match for Messi either. I hope nobody hears me because that, in some areas, ends up being almost borderline heresy. Another ball that's cleared, and another ball that's sent in, and another ball. If it's square, it could be. Messi has a chance. Messi wants to chip it. Messi got greedy. Messi got extremely greedy on that one. Messi had a ball that could have been square. Lautaro Martinez was coming in like a freight train, and he had a wide open net. Wide open net, ladies and gentlemen. He tried to finish. He wanted his goal, but he should have had a. And again, you're going to see here on the play. Look at where Lautaro Martinez is running from. He can hold it, and that ball would have been 2-0 right there. Second one, Messi misses. That could have killed the match off, basically. I don't know. You tell me. Again, out of the back. A lot of danger from Canada that they create, but also a lot of risk. And again, one of you, I think it was Joe, that asked me if that ball, it's part of the, you're always going to have something. It's either if you go forward, you're going to be exposed in the back. If you drop back, you're giving them space in front of you. As Kyle Larin came off, Richie Larea came on already. So all of this that ends up being created ends up being very interesting for Canada going into the latter stages of this encounter. De Paul out back wide to Molina, keeping it short. Messi finding De Paul, being able to squeeze that ball through. Another square ball could be it. Oh, but this time it couldn't get to it. It'll be a foul from behind, and another yellow card will be issued, ladies and gentlemen. This time, of course, it goes to Israel Kone. And again, at this point, you see right there, the toss, the jostling, the pull, and of course, the fall ends up going, and Canada with their first yellow card of the match. Now, you're going to say, well, no, but these victories end up being, no. This is a very good result for Canada. Of course, tomorrow we have to wait and see, because tomorrow in Houston, it'll be the Clásico de Pacífico between Peru and Chile. Now, if you ask me, I'm not a betting man. Messi with a good ball sent in the header. That's out. Of course, it should be a goal kick to, and this Otamendi comes in, and that's what he offers in terms of offensive projection, but an offside was called there. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. With that match between Peru and Chile, Chile come in with a much better run of form, and much like Canada, one of the encounters that kind of gives you a measuring stick as where they are and where they could go, ends up being a loss as the ball ends up being divided. Messi winning it back. Here's a chance for Lautaro Martinez. Lautaro. Crepo, denying once again. And again, folks, Messi's down, holding his knee. Messi's down, and all of a sudden the stadium is in complete and utter silence. Messi, oh no. Organizers, of course, right here, great job by Messi to come through. Right there, that knock that he took. Knee on knee. The adrenaline of the moment kept him going, but it was after that he started to feel the pain. There's no foul, folks. There's no foul. It's contact. Nope. Messi continues to be down. And, I'm sorry. I'll talk about Chile right now for the time being. Oh, that Mexican fan must be happy. Mexican fans usually happy whenever something happens to Argentina, of course. They continue to be all butthurt about losing to Argentina all the time. No, of course, good news is he's able to get up. You don't want to see anyone. No, I don't know if Mito comes in hard on him. I don't know if Argentina took the game lightly because it's Canada. Because if there was something that was constantly being harped on, if there was something that was constantly being, this doesn't tell me anything. The VAR replay that they're showing doesn't tell me anything, because they're showing it super fast. media, Messi again, waiting for that ball to come to him. But of course, he's waiting. And of course, now finally he comes back on. This time it's McAllister on the ground, and it's a free kick coming up. And now it's Messi's chance to be able to come through. People are going to hate me for saying what I'm going to say after, of course, that and the Chile thing. No, because people have talked for days on end about what could be, about what might be, about Saudi. That's always something that in Argentina's 2022 campaign is always mentioned. It's always a reminder, kind of like, hey, it's a moment. Is Jonathan Osorio coming on? Jason Russell Rowe also coming on. So that'll be, of course, coming off will be Kone. And Liam Miller also coming out. Miller, of course, Jason Russell Rowe. Of course, both Toronto FC players coming on. Messi getting ready. The substitution will come on. Messi trying to deliver that ball inside again for Otamendi. Just took too many touches this time around. Otamendi was the one that wanted it. Otamendi's usually the go-to guy in these types of plays. And, of course, it ends up not working out. The whole host of Argentine players crashed in on the party. But Otamendi is the one that brings it down. And, of course, McAllister coming there towards the end. Otamendi, who's still, a lot of rumors about him going to River as we go into the 86th minute of play. Yeah. So in short, part of Argentina's story in winning the World Cup in Qatar always ended up being the loss to Saudi. The loss to Saudi was something that kind of didn't. I mean, it put a damper on them, and of course, being in Qatar during the World Cup, I saw it firsthand, and it was something that they remembered, and they said it's not happening again. Even Lionel Scaloni has mentioned it throughout, and that's been one of the things. Now, Chile. If there was a match that Chile showed the potential that they have going, it happened to be a loss, 3-2 loss to France back in March. And it was just the early beginnings of Ricardo Gareca. Divided ball inside. And finally, Argentina being able to put a lid on Canada to a certain extent in the last few minutes, as Canada have lost a bit of that offensive push going forward. Lo Celso. Final 3 minutes of the match. As Argentina trying to lock things down and get the 3 points and kind of say, okay, fine, we got the first one. And basically, in these types of matches, a debut match, whether you win 4-0, whether you win 1-0, well, the important thing is to get the win and then build upon it. Again, back into the middle. Lo Celso, back to Messi. Messi back out wide. Messi hasn't played the best game, I'll be honest with you. Poking it through, sending it in. Goal! Lautaro. Goal! Lautaro Martinez makes it 2-0. Basically game over. Lautaro with his 25th goal with the national team. And like I said in the first half, remember guys, I was saying this is a match for Lautaro Martinez. Well, maybe the context was set in a different way, or the context was a bit different. But again, how things play out in the middle. It's something that didn't happen in the first half. It's something that didn't happen, especially in a good portion of the second half, where the ball comes in. It was just a sector of the pitch where the ball was transited, not where the ball was elaborated. It was just where it was kind of a pit stop to be able to send it to the opposite end. This time around, it goes into the middle. He finds Messi. Messi's able to just filter that ball. Feathery touch inside moments after I said that he hadn't had a very good match, which he hasn't. And he finds Lautaro Martinez. Martinez able to come through. And both subs, or not both subs, or both nines, whether it's Julian Alvarez, whether it's Lautaro Martinez, they've been the formula to find the back of the net, not once, but twice, and kind of sealing the deal against the Canada side that have been very brave, that have gone forward, that have been able to be up for the challenge. But there's just a different level of class when you start talking about these two teams. 2-0. as two subs. It'll be Huevo Acuna coming off and Nahuel Molina. So basically, both fullbacks come off for both fullbacks. On one end, it's Gonzalo Montiel. On the other one is Nico Tagliafico. As we get into the final minute, Argentina will, I don't know if comfortably, I don't know if that can be said. And of course, I'll kind of elaborate a little bit more in another video on what happened here with Argentina. I don't want to extend it any more than it has to be as terms of the live. So let me know, ladies and gentlemen, should we do another one? Should we go and continue with this? Because to me, it ends up being interesting as Julian Alvarez. I don't know if the match, no, I don't know about that. Julian Alvarez, player of the match? Come on. That you know, did I see George out there? Okay. And this is something George and I at times kind of, it's, the producer goes and says, hey, pick a player. That'll be the player of the match. Who scored the first goal? Okay, that's the player of the match. No, Julian Alvarez was not it as we go into the 90th minute of play. So those are the things that piss me off about some producers. And I've told it to some of their faces that ball comes through. Not in a bad sense, okay? So don't think I got in fights with producers over something as stupid as that. That's definitely not the case. As we're waiting for the indication as to how many minutes, I think it should be about 4, 5. Okay, that's not bad. So Argentina will now head over to, well, I don't know how it's called officially, but up in New Jersey, over at MetLife, where they will play Chile. And then, of course, the final match of the group stage will be against Peru in, of course, I have to say it this way, ladies and gentlemen, because since Metellus was watching, and if he watches it again, as Giovanni Lo Celso ends up getting booked, Miami Gardens over at Hard Rock Stadium. Eustaquio looking to see if they can get one back. Dibu kind of cheating a bit just in case that ball ends up floating in his direction. Bombito sending it through. Dibu, was there a deflection there? As Dibu was going to his left and immediately had to switch over to his right. But so far, see right there, yeah. Looks like there was a slight deflection, but still enough for the goalkeeper to be able to come through. Yeah, I don't know why there was such a doubt about it. And I don't know why they're showing it, I'm not sure why they're showing VAR in such a funny manner. But with those man of the match type of things, at times the producers just say, well, just pick anybody. And they do that. I'll be telling secrets about things. I don't care at this point. But yeah, that's how things end up playing out. So it'll be a corner kick coming up as we go into the already second minute. De Paul Eustaquio is going to just say, no, here, put it here. And of course, that helps De Paul. Yeah, I'm fine. All right, put it there. But then I didn't want it here. I want it there. So that'll take a few more seconds off. Again, like I said, tomorrow it'll be Peru, Chile from Houston as Copa America Day 2 will get underway. Setting it deep, of course. Now another chance to make it 3-0. It'll get knocked around here and there. It'll be a corner. Yeah, it'll be a corner, yeah. But yeah, the soccer scorer gets porn. Well, gets palm. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you said the goal scorer gets porn. I saw it a bit fun. I'm like, well, I don't know. I never said that. I don't know about those types of things. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, and what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought there. Ball that goes to Nico Tagliafico. Hey, Grub, how are you, man? You're just waking up. Continue this live. Okay, cool. Thank you, man. Well, hey, like I said, guys, please spread the word. Please spread the word. Please do so. Again, you guys are the engine for this. I mean, I'm not doing this for my health. I'm not doing it because, I could think of a few things that I'd rather do. Messi being able to get that ball inside. Messi seeing if he can get finally that goal. He gets stumbled upon and this is right within his wheelhouse or maybe on the borderline of it. So it could be an interesting way to finish. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Please, 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 please spread the word. Spread the word. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to whoever's interested in watching this. I mean, I don't know how much of an impact would end up being made because of doing something like this. But I hope it's just maybe that little pebble that comes in and starts maybe encouraging others. I don't know. Maybe some that are maybe better than I am at this, and there might be, as Derek Cornelius ends up getting booked for the Messi challenge. I hope it ends up leading to greater and bigger things. Well, let's see how things can end up. They end up with a very, very big exclamation mark, like one this big, because Messi set up from a very favorable angle to be able to score. This was amazing. I learned, I don't know if I taught much, but it's something. I mean, I'm just contributing. I hope that I can contribute with a lot more going into this encounter or going into this experience. To me, it's different. As it's the final bit of action in this encounter, Messi will send it in. Messi with a free kick. I don't know. We'll see. Can he put it over the wall? First. And then can he get it past Crepeau? Second. Although Crepeau's been sensational. The ball sent in. Great to Crepeau. But that should be it, as the referee will blow the whistle. Or he should blow the whistle. He does. Argentina come out unscathed. They struggled. They didn't have the clearest of paths going forward. But again, it was a team that, through patience and, of course, weathering storms, as you see both Alphonso Davies and Messi going to switch their respective jerseys, as the former Barcelona man may be giving that jersey to the future Real Madrid left back. We'll see how things play out on that one. But again, a couple of things to notice in terms of all of what has gone on in this encounter. An Argentina side that played 6, 7. And again, please don't take it as them playing poorly. Is at times you need a 6 or a 7 starting out a tournament when you haven't played a competitive match since the month of November, trying to get the gears back clicking. You struggled in your last friendly against Guatemala, and of course, you just outclassed them in a match like that. So why not have some part of these tournaments is to see, it's not only, I mean, of course, as a fan, the morbosity of seeing a team kind of blow past everybody, just blow everybody away, ends up being exciting. But at the end of the day, what ends up being more intriguing from a football standpoint is seeing how teams like Argentina solve problems. Because that's one of the details that ends up emerging in all of this. How does a team solve problems? Argentina had problems. Number one problem was, how do I move the ball around when a team is so well structured defensively? Canada played very well from a defensive standpoint for a good portion of this match. Yeah, they had one lapse in the second half that ends up becoming the goal by Julian Alvarez. But that's also, and like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, you have to look at football in two ways. What you can't do and what they don't let you do, number one. What Argentina can't do is move the ball in the middle. Why? Because Canada won't let them. Canada played very well. They shrunk angles. They cut off passes. They cut off lanes. They cut off bubbles of space. And what was I saying? Julian Alvarez didn't play well. Messi didn't play well. Well, Messi ends up converting an assist. Julian Alvarez ends up finding the back of the net because they were able to find ways to solve those problems. Defensively, there were points in this match where they ended up losing the ball consistently. They couldn't get out of their own half of the pitch. How do they solve those problems? Keep that in mind before anything else when you're analyzing all of this at the end of the day, because if you start looking at football from the perspective of, oh, well, they won, they scored more goals, passing passes correct, passes asserted, passes that are missed, yeah, you're not going to get what did this team do during the stretch that things were going wrong? They couldn't solve problems. And what did they do eventually to solve that problem and overcome it? Because at one point, Canada could have made it 1-1. More than one time. Canada could have made it 1-1. And of course, with Canada, it's finishing. I find myself blowing my mind because you have one of the best scorers in European football in Jonathan David in front of goal, and he missed an opportunity. And Steven Eustáquio ends up missing a great header, but give credit to Dibu Martinez, who ends up shutting him down. That ends up being important for Canada as a growing tool, because now they play Chile, and a Chile side that is also in construction. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two teams end up squaring off at the end of the day. Or excuse me, they play Peru, who's also in construction as well. So it's interesting to see how those two teams will pair. I would believe, and I would not be one bit surprised if Canada beat Peru. They just have more class. They just have better players than Peru at this stage. We'll see. Now with Argentina, they end up facing Chile. For them, it's going to be another challenge because you're going to have a team that likes to press, that likes to cut, that's going to show intensity, that Gareca knows exactly what he wants to do. But Argentina showed that. So a 6 or a 7 is not a bad thing starting a tournament, because you always want to start here and go here. You don't want to start here and come down, or at any point you want to be able to come down. You don't. So that's where things end up being. Guys, it's been a pleasure. So I talk to you soon. I don't want to hold you up anymore. Again, final score, Argentina 2, Canada 0. Thank you so much.